Welcome everyone to another video, and in this video we are going to be featuring the set that I hit legend in. This is in the Ultra League. This is with Annihilate, Pidgeot, Best Buddy, level 51, and Registeel. Let's go ahead and take a look. I think overall I climbed like 70 points in like 6 sets or something. So not like super amazing, but I was still getting used to, and as well, it had been a little while since I'd played, admittedly. So we are gonna go ahead, and as well, these queue times were quite long here in Ultra League. So we're gonna go ahead, pick up a fantastic lead, Annihilate into Registeel. I do run Shadow Ball, Ice Punch, and I like to throw the Shadow Ball right away. It's the same time as the Zap Cannon. The reason I like to throw right away is to make sure that I get the Shadow Ball off before the debuff. And the opponent chooses not to throw right away, because I guess if they threw right away and I continue countering, then I would get a sneak in. And I am going to throw and as well, I played this person already, so I already know what their backline is, Clefable and Lantern. So I'm in a pretty decent spot. I'm going to let this go. The opponent throws at a very good time, which is expected at this ELO range. And I'm going to go to Pidgeot. I'm going to one shield and farm them down. So I'm going to shield this. This is going to just be a Focus Blast. They probably could make it to, they definitely could make it to Zap Cannon, but I guess I could also throw at them. And the opponent here, last time I got confused because they came in Clefable and I Brave Bird, then I switched to Lantern, and they actually ended up losing just barely. So this time I play it a little bit differently. So I am going to Feather Dance them on CMP. The opponent chooses not to shield. Totally fine. I'm going to let this go. This is like quad debuff now, so it doesn't do that much damage. And then I'm going to build up some energy. Then I'm going to look to CMP tie on the Meteor Mash, but the opponent chooses to continue farming. So I'm going to throw the Brave Bird at the Clefable, and I'm going to look to Feather Dance this Lantern, which I'm just going to be able to just barely get to. And then I'm going to switch to Registeel, and this is game over here. Registeel and Lantern is a very close one shield matchup, but with them being 2-stage debuff, there's not really too much play for them on this side. So the advantage of playing this on Go Battle Day, or Go Battle Week, I should say, is that I got a chance to understand what people's teams were and then adjust accordingly. The opponent decides to leave the match, so it worked out pretty well for me. I'm just going to go ahead and speed up because the queue times were quite long in Ultra League, and I actually aired out there. So, okay, we're right. Perfect. We're into the next match. Unfortunately, my cursor is on the screen, but that's okay. And the opponent comes into Pidgeot. I wasn't expecting them to stay, so I'm curious what they have in the back. And they do Feather Dance, which is totally fine for me. I'm going to go ahead and throw the Zap Cannon at this Pidgeot, which obviously doesn't do enough to KO because of the Feather Dance. And the opponent chooses to Brave Bird, which makes sense because the next move is going to KO anyways. And I'm going to go to 100 here. I should have thrown like a turn sooner, but this is not that big a deal. I'm going to look to no bubble this, but this will probably still KO because they are very debuffed. Actually, no. Okay, I actually get one more counter in, which is totally fine for me. And they come into Mandibuzz. So it makes sense why they were trying to bait out the Registeel, because they were weak to Reggie in the back. And I'm going to land the Ice Punch. The Snarls are neutral, and the Aerial Ace is super effective, but it's going to take at least one more to KO. So I'm going to look to just get as much counter and Ice Punch damage as possible and try to put myself in the best position possible. So, and potentially could have shielded here to get off the Ice Punch, but I decided to save the shield. And I come into Reggie, though. I knew they're going to immediately swap, so maybe I should have came into Pidgeot here. And they do come into Nidoqueen. I am going to look to shield this Poison Fang. Even though my defense is dropped now, the Feather Dance is a 2-stage attack drop. So this will put me in a better spot in theory. So, and then I kind of have to make a decision here. So I'm going to let this go. And I have to make a decision between Brave Birding or Feather Dancing them. So I am going to build up to the Brave Bird, and I decided to just go for it. And this is actually an extremely close game. The opponent, I think, misplays it right here because they actually decide to go for the Dark Pulse. And I would definitely would have fainted to the Aerial Ace. And perhaps I shouldn't have done that Wing Attack and to switch it sooner. They throw the Dark Pulse. I'm going to try to throw a good timing on the Zap Cannon. And I really hope for the debuff, which I don't end up getting, which is okay for me still because the opponent throws an excellent timing on their side. They throw the Aerial Ace, but unfortunately for them, I am not in Aerial Ace range. And I have the Brave Bird, which is going to be enough to take out the Mandibuzz, and I'm going to be able to win this game. Very close game. Slight misplay against the Pidgeot. Well, I guess getting the extra counter was pretty nice too, but I could have played that a little bit nicer. Maybe I could have also stayed and locked on down the Pidgeot and then switched. But that's okay. And then I would be able to probably have a move banked versus the Neoqueen. I could apologize for the cursor here. So okay, I moved my cursor though. And then I end up using the facility. So there's quite a long queue time here. Okay, all right, we're gonna go ahead and switch to Reggie, and they come into Annihilate. This is actually not the worst matchup for Reggie, especially since I get the Zap Cannon off first before the Shadow Ball, and if they don't have close combat, I actually win the Zero Shield, which is very nice for me. I get the debuff, which is really nice. And I believe I actually also played this person as well, so I know they have Poliwrath in the back, and I get the Zap Cannon off, which is good for me. Hoping for another attack drop, which I do get another attack drop. And last time they just blind Ice Punch me. I guess they predicted that I was going to come into Pidgeot. So I come into Annihilate. They do throw the Ice Punch. And here I debate shielding or not. I think I decide to let this go. I actually decide to shield. And then I'm going to farm up. And I think the opponent was trying to catch the they banked an Ice Punch because they know I have a Pidgey on the back, and I throw the Shadow Ball, and I'm gonna let this go, and then I'm gonna look to switch to Pidgeot and farm down, and we will see how this is gonna play out here. They come into Tentacruel. I decide to go for the Feather Dance right away to reduce the attack. And the opponent is looking to... Okay, I decide to go Brave Bird. I guess figured why not. I guess they're going up to the Blizzard. And they come into Annihilate, and I decide to let this go. And then I'm going to look to farm all the way down. And I actually decide to let this go because I know they have a Scald, and this Ice Punch shouldn't KO, but it's so close here. They decide to throw here. I guess if I don't have two Ice Punches, then it makes sense to throw here. I'm just going to shield this move because I win CMP. So I'm going to go ahead and land the Ice Punch onto this Tentacruel, and it's just barely enough for me to win the game. And we're going to go into this fourth game here. All right. And we're going to have... this actually was a really good game here. This is actually against a very good battler. And then I decided to I really have no possible win con here. So I decided to just go for it. And I go for the Brave Bird. They actually end up no shielding. They throw an alignment. And I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to shield this. I need switch here. They for sure have a hard answer in the back. And they actually come into Jellicent. Now this Feather Dance is going to drop their attack by 2 stages. So I actually will survive this Surf by them. And I decide to go for the Brave Bird. And what do I do here? They actually decide to shield, which is actually pretty nice for me. I decide to save the Pidgeot for a potential sack later. And let's see here. They throw the Surf, which is an interesting play. And I was a little bit worried that they're going to be able to switch out here. So I threw a little bit sooner than perhaps I should have. So I basically threw right away and throw the Zapcan to take them out. I know they have the Ninetales left, and they decide to come into Annihilape. And I figure they're going to try to catch. So I'm just going to keep farming here. And then I'm going to farm down. And then I'm going to force this Annihilape to throw. Well, I guess I decided to do the one lock on because they win CMP tie anyways. And they go for the Shadow Ball. They are ahead on energy versus me, but I do have the potential catch. And I decide to just go for it. I just go straight for the Shadow Ball. I'm like, I didn't bait the first time and he called it. And he's probably not going to think that I'm going to throw the nuke twice. And then I end up getting, for when I am getting destroyed in the last battle here, but I'm going to leave it here. This was a fun team. Obviously, some of the flaws and challenges, but really, really, really good games. I had a lot of fun playing this team. Let me know if you give this team a shot. And if you like this video, like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see everyone in the next video.